Hey guys, what's up? We're back with the 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge, the Bright, like almost the top trim with all the options. And we've spent the last week with this, picking up carpool, running errands, being with our kids, and just taking it on the freeway all around town. And we've really enjoyed our time with it.
Yeah. Gotten some comments about it too. People say they love it.
Yeah, especially that interior is so impressive. But the exterior too, it's like, this thing's been around for a little while, but it's still like such a beautiful and classy looking car. So we'll take you on a tour of the interior real quick. We'll also give you some driving impressions from the both of us and let you know what our thoughts are about this XC90 Recharge. So again, this design's been around for a minute, but it still looks really classy. Like Volvo's doing a great job across the board right now with all of their stuff. I especially love their wagons, but this XC90 in this denim blue color, especially when you see the nice gray wool interior, just looks so sharp. And like Allie said, it's gotten some compliments and it's more, conservatively styled, but I think that's probably a big selling point for a lot of people, especially while some of its German competitors especially get a little more robust or extreme with their styling. The Volvo is kind of refreshing to just look at. And it's got very nice details, beautiful headlights. These are the optional larger wheels, which I don't know that you need, but they do look good. And overall, it's just a really great looking SUV. And then for the cargo area, with that third row up, it's actually really good. And under here, you just have space for the charger. And obviously with the third row back, you'd have even more space. So coming into the interior, here is what I think is the coolest and best part of the interior are these amazing seats, right?
I love the seats. I love them.
Yeah.
I think they look unique in a really good way.
Yeah, this beautiful pattern here. You can see it's a wool blend and very comfortable, so adjustable. Like again, think these are some of the best seats I've ever sat in, if not the best.
I think they're my favorite.
Yeah, they're phenomenal. I'd love to spend all day in here. So here's the digital gauge cluster, which looks nice, but it's actually like really simple. There's not much more to it. Like you can kind of turn that off and on, but that's kind of it. And it will show you if you want, you can go to your fuel economy and trip and everything. But yeah, that's just kind of it. And so here is that infotainment that we were mentioning. The screen is kind of small and it is slanted kind of down, but it's a Google interface, but you do kind of need to get used to it. It does have Apple CarPlay, but again, it's not wireless.
There's not a whole lot of apps here either.
Yeah, not a ton. It's a little challenging to use, but you get used to it. And then down below, you do have some buttons. And of course, the highlight being this amazing crystal gear shifter. It's so cool.
So pretty.
And it's illuminated too. Like at night, it just looks really beautiful.
It does kind of crack me up that you have physical buttons for like the media stuff down here
Yeah,
and the
I know.
vents, but you can't like adjust the temperature or anything with the physical buttons. You have to go in and actually like hit that and then hit the buttons down or up or whatever.
Yeah.
So I am one that loves having the physical buttons there for sure whenever I can get them.
And these buttons, these icons are like a little small. You have to like hit it right on,
Yeah.
And then you have to tap, like.
But super powerful though, as we discussed earlier. I think that my hand almost burns on the steering wheel when it's on full force.
It's so nice and
toasty.
toasty.
But it feels so good because it's starting to get cold here in Utah.
Yeah.
So I've already made really good use of the heated steering wheel and the heated seats. And the climate control is also really strong as well because like I had to turn the air down again because I feel like in most cars, when I'm cold, I don't know if I'm probably not the only person who does this, I just automatically crank it to the extremes. Like if I'm cold, I crank it to high. And if I'm hot, I crank it all the way down to low. And so I cranked it to high yesterday when it rained and it was cold all day. And within a few minutes, I had to bump it back a few degrees because it was way too hot. One other cool thing that we just discovered this morning, actually, the kids and I, these buttons, they're just touch sensitive.
Slide, yeah.
So you don't even have to slide, you can just tap it.
Those, yeah. I was meaning for the moonroof.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to close it, you go like that.
Well.
Or are you opening it?
There we go. and then it slides closed. All right, Finn, so what are some of your favorite parts, buddy?
So my first favorite part is that these lights, you don't have to like press. It's like a faster shortcut way that you can just slide on this and it'll turn off.
Cool. All right.
And then I like how in the back on the air conditioner thingies, when you're sitting down, it's like kind of up here to your head, so it blows good air on your head, so you can get the air good.
Okay.
Yeah, and I always like cars that have a top thing where you can see through. Like if you're in like a colorful car wash, you can see in there.
Awesome.
And then I kind of like how there's heated seats right here. I like cars with heated seats.
Seeing back there is that those are finger holes in those lights.
In those lights?
And the heated seats and those air conditioners and the things that have spiders in it.
Plenty of room for kids, plenty of room for adults. Now, the tricky thing is like we were talking about, to get into the third row, you have to pull this, and then this, it gets there, and then you really have to like push it. That's something that a kid probably is not gonna be able to do. But once it's there, you do have decent room in the third row. I can fit back there, and my knees are touching the second row, so not great space, but it's, I would say, about average.
Hello.
Hey, it's a family review.
I know, it's been a minute since I've joined one of these, so this is a sign that I really, really liked this car. I actually insisted on being part of this because, I mean, we drive a lot of cars, and we've driven a lot of great cars that I haven't filmed with you, to be fair. But this one, I really wanted to film because we talk a lot about our Kia Telluride and how much we love that, and still do very much love that car. But it's pretty rare when I get behind the wheel of a car that makes me go, like, wow, I like this better than my Telluride.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Jason last week when we first got this, we should probably tell them what we're driving. We are in the 2023 Volvo XC90 Recharge.
Yes.
So this is a plug-in hybrid.
Mm-hmm. And this is the top trim, the Bright, all the way up to the Bright trim. It's like there's like several different trims, but this is the Recharge, has all the nice stuff, has these really cool kind of wool seats, and it has, combined with the battery, 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque.
Which is pretty awesome.
This thing definitely scoots a little bit better than our Telluride does.
Right, yeah, and that's what I was gonna say is, after I drove this car last week for the first time, and then I got into our Telluride after, I was kind of like, huh, that feels different. I mean, we've always known that our Telluride, it's not like the zippiest car, it's not the most exciting engine. It's also not like the most sluggish either. It's fine, it's decent. But this thing, I mean, 455 horsepower, that definitely,
a lot of power.
That definitely beats our Telluride, which is what? How many horsepower?
It's like 276,
276,
like
which is fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But anyway, it's so fun. And to illustrate that, I am just sitting here on the side of the road outside of our house, and I'm gonna mash it. So we have completely depleted the battery power at this point. We probably should have charged it up for the video.
Charged up, it's said about 40 miles of electric range, but usually it's, closer to like 30, 32 or so.
And those go by really fast, and we're gonna go. We're gonna go really fast.
Please
Ready?
no talking right now.
Okay, so even without the battery, I'm just gonna demonstrate. You probably won't be able to tell super well, obviously, but I'm gonna floor it right now to show you how quickly it gets up and goes off the line, even without the battery power. So here we go. Ready? Woo!
Yeah.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, it's really good.
There were a few times this week that I found myself on streets where I needed to accelerate very quickly because I was trying to shoot the gap in a break in the traffic. And this thing, it just slingshots forward. And again, that was with a completely depleted battery. And we've noticed that when the battery is charged, obviously it's a little punchier.
It's even better, yeah. It really moves, and I mean, it's an impressive car. And this, you know, typically when we're talking about like high-end, like luxury mid-size SUVs, we're talking about BMWs, we're talking about Audis, Mercedes, you know, the standard fare. But this Volvo really does feel like something special, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And that was from the get-go. First impressions, opening up the door and climbing in the driver's seat, I was like, this car is different, but in a really fascinating way, like in a good way. Sometimes you get in a car, especially like in an EV or even a plug-in hybrid sometimes, that tries too hard to be like different, weird.
Kind of gimmicky.
Gimmicky, yeah, that's a good word for it. And this one, I feel like it really caught my attention from the get-go before I'd even driven it, because first of all, these seats, which you said are wool.
Yeah, I believe it's a wool blend fabric, but it's an option. You can obviously get nice leather in here, but I like them. Like, this is what I would pick if I were
I love them. I know.
Yeah.
And it's gonna sound funny, and I mean this in a good way. It made me think of like a family room couch
Yeah.
when I came in, but in a good way. I appreciate that it's different and it feels comfy. It has a family friendly feeling to it.
Yeah.
Kids are comfortable back there, right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And another comparison that I'll make with the Telluride, it's hard for me to find cars that I feel like have just as good or better heated seats and ventilated seats and a heated steering wheel. But I will say, I think that this one beats the Telluride.
Yeah, I think they are a little more toasty.
I had to turn them off.
Yeah, they get really, well, like right now, I'm like, wow, it's really warm.
Yeah.
Like, it feels really good.
Well, we've got it on the highest level.
The three levels.
The highest level of heat on the seat and on the steering wheel. The steering wheel is like toasty.
Yeah, it's so
I can't
awesome.
even like hold on to the top of it because it's so
yeah.
hot. So I guess I could turn that down, would be the smart thing, but.
Yeah, and I don't think, I didn't see though, and I'm kind of surprised, I don't see an option for ventilation.
You know, now that you mention that, I don't know that it does have ventilation. Well, and I don't think it is, because it would have some type of like perforation, right? If it was ventilated. And these.
I don't know with the wool, but I don't
Yeah.
believe these are ventilated, which I'm
I
kind
don't
of
think
surprised.
these are ventilated. That is surprising
Yeah.
because of the price point of this car, which I don't love everything about this car. I'll say that. I do love this car a lot, and it's been a blast to drive and super smooth on the road. I just said that it kind of reminded me of like being on an ice skate.
Yeah.
Ice skates. I guess you would never
The
be on an
power
ice skate.
train is just glorious. It's so good. Like, you can go back and watch the S60 Recharge video that I did of the Black Edition a couple months back. And I remarked there just how smooth and just how seamless the power is. Like, it's like you get the same kind of feeling you get like in an EV, but then you've got this amazing turbocharged motor to kind of like back you up and give you even more power and also take you the range, right? Like this all together, but with the gas and a full charge and keeping this fully charged, it has like over 500 miles of range. It's really cool. Anyway, the price though.
Yeah, so the price. I mean, I guess we might as well get the cons out of the way too, since we talked about how much we love this car. I don't know why I had it in my mind that this was somewhere like maybe in like the mid 60s, I was thinking. And even then I'm like, it's a little steep, but it's a really nice car, so it makes sense. But how much is it?
This is just over $85,000, and this is one of the more fully loaded models you can get. I don't think it has quite every option, for example, the ventilated seats and such, but yeah, 85 grand.
I'm sorry, Volvo, this is a really, really nice car. I would not pay $85,000 for it. I just wouldn't. And I mean, someone probably will. Someone out there will. And
It's, you know, it's not, there are worse ways that we've experienced to spend 85 grand for sure.
Yeah.
But, woo, it is steep.
That's
Like this,
super steep.
this does feel more like a $68,000,
Yeah.
which you can get XC90s in that price range. But if you want the recharge and all these other options, yeah, 85 grand.
And so that swings back in favor of the Telluride for me because the Telluride costs a full $30K cheaper than this car.
Yeah, fully
So,
loaded Telluride that has
fully
second
loaded.
row.
Heated and ventilated seats. So for this one to charge 85 and not even have ventilated seats, and another thing that I do need to mention for my fellow carpooling parents out there, maybe this is on me and I just haven't cracked the code as to how to more efficiently do this, but it is really hard to get people in that third row back there.
You got to really push the seat up. Like once it starts moving up, like with the Telluride, you just press the button, it's like boom, slams forward.
It's very responsive.
This, like you pull the lever and then it's like kind of comes, and then you gotta use some muscle, which I don't know if little kids will be able to move that on their own.
No, I had to pick up this week in the morning, and morning pickup is always a little more of a hassle because they actually have to be somewhere at a certain time. So it's not like after school where they can take their time and climb in and get adjusted. So I ended up just, the seats back there, they fold down and then they're supposed to flip up from there. I still cannot get that thing to flip up. I would end up I kept the second row here folded down in one of the seats and just didn't even use that so that the kids could just climb over it and get into the back seat. So we had use of 2 extra seats back there. And I just would have preferred to have something that's a little easier to open up for the third row.
Yeah, so in conclusion, this is a really impressive car. Like the
It's
materials, it feels really well built. It's so comfortable. Like I think these seats are probably the best seats I've ever sat in.
They're very, very comfortable. Like they feel like they've been molded to you. And again, I like the wool.
I do too. The wool's a really cool option. I wish that more automakers offered cloth or wool options as opposed to the black leather just kind of gets old after a while, you know? Like it's cool to have some options like this that it still feels very luxurious without having to do the standard kind of leather thing. But you know, it's a great car. It's super nice to drive. It feels really great. It's so solid. It's so solid to drive, and it's excellent on the freeway especially. It's just planted. This would be an amazing road trip car. Although again, without the battery fully charged, you're going to get good mileage, but not as good as I expected. Again, we were close to about 22 miles per gallon without the battery fully charged. So kind of disappointing that way. But if you're charging it up every night, you've got 40 miles of range every day. And so that does start to add up. So you wouldn't have to fill it very often. But again, you got to charge it. It's just a matter if you, yeah, go ahead.
No, sorry, I just remembered one.
Yeah.
I mean, are you finished with
I was going to
that?
say, it's just a matter if you want to spend 85 grand for it.
And I will say again, another thing, it does not have wireless Apple CarPlay.
Yeah.
Android Auto. It's wired. I find that interesting. I don't know. I mean, it has Bluetooth, so my phone's connected to the Bluetooth right now, and I do like the center display. It's a little bit small, and I would like it to be up a little higher because I find myself looking down.
It is kind of down,
a lot,
yeah.
especially when you're in reverse, because I'll put it into reverse and maybe you can do some B-roll. Because the top half of the screen, it's a vertical screen, and so the top half is just a rendering of the car itself from the top down, and then so you don't even see a camera view from the top half. So it's the bottom half of the screen is the reverse camera. So you really are looking down to see that.
Yeah, I mean, you can access the 360 view, but you have to press the screen to...
It doesn't default.
I don't know why it wouldn't... So it's kind of strange. You do have a little split screen action that feels a little weird.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the cameras are nice. They're good.
Yeah, looks
but
good.
I think it's just because it's an $85,000 car, I'm going to be a lot more picky with it.
Yeah.
And I would expect it to be, there's certain things that I would expect more at that price point.
Yeah, again, the reason we mention the Telluride so often is because we've had a lot of experience. We've put over 20,000 miles with ours, and it's the fully loaded one. And it's kind of what we've, after driving probably over 100 cars in the last year, couple hundred cars, last couple years, it still is like the standard for value and luxury.
Yes.
Like for the price, it's so hard to beat. And so, yeah, you're probably not cross-shopping a Telluride with an XC90, but maybe you should. Like, honestly, you could
you're
save
looking
like
for a family car.
$30,000 and have more space and more features. You're not going to have the power, the cool recharge and all that, but you're getting a whole lot for the money. That said, if you want to spend 85 grand, I think you're going to be pretty pleased with this because the selling point here is just how great it is to drive.
Absolutely.
So with that, guys, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks.